Yet again, we are seeing another flare-up in the ever-going, lasting for decades and decades at this point, the conflict between Israel and Palestine. Palestine controls the West Bank and the Gaza Strip area of that region, and Israel controls the rest. And seems like two or three times each year we get one of these stories where there will be some type of attack that has that the two sides fight about who provoked the attack and which ones were justified and which ones were unjustified, and then we will see retaliation, and it'll be continued ramping up of attacks until they agree or outsiders intervene um to temporarily stop the violence, the ceasefire orders and stuff. And this has been a problem for decades and decades now. I remember earlier in the Biden administration there was a very big blow up that between these two sides, with loads and loads of rockets being fired over the span of over a week. And it was one of the most one of the biggest flare-ups in recent history. So it's an important context that doesn't get the international recognition and coverage in the news that it should, just because it's a conflict without a beginning, middle, and end. It's always just ongoing. These events are just happening over and over again. So they'll get reporting, and but they aren't as widely talked about just because it happens so much. So now we're just going to look at the latest update, and the big news is that Palestinian gunmen had opened fire in a synagogue in East Jerusalem in Israel, killing 70 people, wounding three others until the police um, killed him. The attack it came after a day after Israel did a military raid, which killed nine Palestinians in the West Bank regions. Um, and the shooting had set off celebration in the Palestinian-controlled areas, people firing guns into the air, honking horns, distributing sweets. So it's not obviously something that we're trying to stop. And after and our Secretary of State Anthony Blinken is going to be visiting the region on Sunday, and now will his visit will be mainly just focused on trying to stop this escalation from going anywhere. Israel recently had uh, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu re-sworn in as Prime Minister with a very right-wing government, one of the most right-wing that they've had in a very long time. He was Prime Minister for a while before and then got replaced, but now is back in power. So unclear how much of this conflict relates to him being back at the helm of Israel. Uh, but in the American side, in the American world, we're seeing first we're seeing everyone condemning the attacks and shootings and the senseless violence. But as usual, now we're seeing some people, usually on the left, being more sympathetic with Palestine, and people on the right being more sympathetic with Israel. So the likely end to this is just a few more days, hopefully of not too deadly fighting, but who really knows? And then, as it usually goes, they will just tone it down, make an agreement, and do a temporary ceasefire, and then just wait a couple or a few months for the next thing to happen. It's a very tragic ongoing cycle, but it seems to be how it's been happening for a while now, between Israel and Palestine.